A recently married bride dies a mysterious death, leaving her family at a loss for years. Well, tonight, new developments are pointing to her handsome doctor husband, who's been married 5 other times and had another wife die unexpectedly. Here's ABC's Jim Avila for our series, Crime and Punishment.
Down on the Gulf of Mexico, in the once sleepy lumber town of Loxley, Alabama, a dark mystery of sudden, unexplained death.
This interview is with Michael
Wohlschlaeger,
the husband who is not a suspect.
This is in reference to Mr. Wohlschlaeger's wife.
The wife who died suddenly.
Do you know the cause of death?
But was not murdered.
Do you remember her falling?
Unless she was.
What do you think really happened, Chester?
Man, I hate to say this. I think someone murdered my sister.
Shirley Seitz fell for Dr. Mike Wohlschlaeger. Fell hard and fell fast. How do you do to I do in 3 months flat? But Shirley wasn't his first bride, or his second, or his third, or even fourth. Shirley was number 5. Some with tales to tell about their marriage to Mike, and more importantly, how their marriages ended. To be fair, this was wedding number 5 for Shirley, too. And up in northern Alabama, Shirley's family, the Thomases, wanted to be happy for her, but they could not.
I didn't like him at all. I just have to admit that.
But Shirley was sold on her new man. Dr. Mike, as he was called, worked much of his life as a chiropractor, adjusting grateful patients' backs in the nearby Florida Panhandle, smiling handsomely in healthcare ads in the newspaper and online. But money trouble plagued the chiropractor like a crooked spine, and his financial problems troubled Shirley's family because Shirley had $1 million in the bank.
Were you worried about her money?
Yes, I was worried about her money. He come into her life with the clothes on his back.
He come into the marriage with a wore-out pickup truck and a bunch of debt.
Her engagement ring from Dr. Mike, the wedding rings, the house they lived in, the family says Shirley paid it all. 4 years into the marriage, something is wrong with Shirley. Months later, in a recorded interview obtained by 2020, Dr. Michael would tell investigators Shirley had been ill for weeks.
She gets bad migraines maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
The family says Mike tells them Shirley might have fallen down these stairs a few days earlier while he was away, knocking down a potted plant. He later tells investigators too.
I sat here with her mother and asked her, "Baby, do you remember falling down those steps because that plant was knocked over?" And she almost got irritatedly mad at me. And she said, "I did not fall."
Myrtle and Mike nurse Shirley through the weekend. They try to get her to go to the doctor, but Shirley keeps putting it off. Mike gives her migraine medicine. It seems to do a world of good. And by Sunday night, Shirley is even sitting up, eating, and talking.
I said, "Now, Shirley Faye, you better lay down and go to sleep." And that's the last words I ever said to her.
The next morning, Mike goes into the bedroom once again.
And she wasn't responsive. So I walked over and I turned on the light, and her lips were already blue.
Mike yells for Myrtle.
"She's not breathing, call 911.
Steve Brannon is a former FBI agent, now a private investigator hired by the Thomas family. He showed us around the house on Camelot.
So when Myrtle gets in here, what does she see?
She sees Shirley on the floor.
Myrtle knows it's too late.
And I said, "Mike, Shirley's already gone."
The family is heartbroken and a little baffled, but bewilderment quickly turns to suspicion when Shirley's daughter Sharon finds an old newspaper article. It's a brief story about the sudden death of a young woman in Gainesville, Florida in 1977, Lynn Wohlschlaeger, Mike's first wife. The article says a 25-year-old woman apparently choked to death Friday on a throat lozenge. Sharon and the rest of the Thomas family say they find 2 things strange about that. First, an otherwise healthy 25-year-old woman chokes to death on a cough drop. Second, they say Michael had always told them a different story. He told them his first wife didn't die suddenly. She died a slow, painful death from cancer.
Michael had told us the entire time that he was married to Mama that Lynn had leukemia.
It made me wonder, well, what else has he lied about?
What else has he lied about? For the answer to that question, we take you to Chipley, Florida, and a suspicious fire in Dr. Mike's past, nearly 20 years ago.
I was approaching this place of business here. I detected smoke, seen smoke.
Lieutenant Tillman Mears, in plain clothes, was a rookie patrolman back in the day. He says he found Dr. Mike standing outside his own office, just watching it burn.
My first question was, why didn't the doctor call the fire department?
But that wasn't the cops' only question.
Once I approached Mr. Wohlschlaeger, I detected the smell of diesel fuel on his person.
And that was before they found the can of diesel fuel and a match and the suspected motive. He was flat broke and after the insurance. Dr. Wohlschlaeger was arrested, tried, and convicted of arson. Shirley's family is devastated.
I intend to see that he's dealt with, and he can take that to the bank.
A flicker of suspicion about what happened in the house on Camelot Court is now a raging five-alarm mission for what they see as justice that has fully engulfed 3 generations of the Thomas family and leads to 2 more of Dr. Mike's 5 wives.
So I just get on the internet and start Facebooking.
Wife number 2, Paula, says he never harmed her, but relentless, Sharon has tracked down yet another wife, number 3, Gloria Potts.
Hey, give me a hug.
ABC News was there when Gloria met Shirley's family face to face for the first time. She believes that toward the end of their marriage, Michael was trying to poison her.
I felt like I was being poisoned. I really did.
You got sick?
Sick, couldn't hardly move.
And then that's when I turned around and told her, Gloria, I can't believe you're saying this to me, but I said, Mother has had these same symptoms.
The family of wife number 5, Shirley, wondered if Dr. Mike had been trying to poison her too. And you guessed it, here comes Mrs. Wohlschlaeger number 4, Diana.
Today's date is February the 4th, 2011.
In a recording obtained by ABC News, investigators questioned Diana Yone, the 4th stop on Dr. Mike's matrimonial trail, the wife between Gloria and Shirley.
I think the man's dangerous, personally.
Near the end of her interview, Mike's ex-wife makes a chilling request.
And I'll be honest with you, if something happens to me, he needs to be investigated.
So now 2 more wives suspect Dr. Mike was trying to poison them, and one of them says, hold on, that's not all. Wife number 3, Gloria, reveals a terrible trauma she says happened in her marriage nearly 30 years ago. She says Dr. Mike, the man who had always killed her with kindness, tried to kill her with a mallet.
And I was asleep, and he hit me in the back of the head with a mallet.
With a mallet?
Yes. And all of a sudden the pillow went over my face, and his hand came under the pillow and covered my nose and my mouth.
Gloria says she escaped by playing dead and then running out of the house.
You went to the hospital?
I went to the hospital, but we told them I slipped in the tub.
Did you ever ask him at any point, why were you doing that? Why did you try to kill me?
Yes. He told me he had gotten stung by jellyfish when he worked in China, and that it was a reaction to the toxins.
That's right. She says Dr. Mike's excuse for hitting her over the head with a mallet? The jellyfish made him do it. Gloria says she told no one, not even the police. She says she had 2 children to think of. And aside from the one incident, Mike was never violent.
But besides the fact that he hit you with a mallet, he was a good husband.
Other than trying to kill me, to my knowledge, he was a very good husband.
Now remember when Gloria told the family and then police this amazing tale of Mike's alleged attack, no one knew what killed Shirley. The autopsy was not finished yet. So imagine the reaction when months later, the family is finally given the results.
I'm shaking my head. I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. I can't believe this is happening.
Why? Because the medical examiner finds what caused Shirley's death is no migraine. It's a blow to the head, blunt force head injuries, a hit to the back of Shirley's skull, hard. That is what killed her. When Nightline comes back.
So when you find out later on that it's blunt force trauma to the head.
Then there's no question in my mind. that Michael murdered this woman, murdered Shirley.
My mother has actually been killed. This man has killed my mama.
But was it really true? Stay tuned.